Today's day 2 for the Karmelo Anthony trial. We have had a lot of testimony. Some of these witnesses did contradict themselves. We got all the way down to the last witness for today, and that witness painted a scene that nobody else had painted before. Now, the first witness to take the stand was Neil Adams. Neil Adams is a first responder. He got a call about a stabbing. He realized that children were involved, and it took him about 6 to 7 minutes to get there. He stated that once he got there, they were already giving Austin CPR. Now, he states that Austin was gray in color. His pupils were already dilated, and that he had no pulse at the time. He stated that during this time, Austin did get 2 units of blood and they did everything that they could do, but they could not save him. Now, the second witness to take the stand was School Resource Officer Eduardo Cortez. He was the first officer to get to Karmelo. He stated that Karmelo was near a fence and he did follow all commands. Now, they did introduce the body cam footage during this testimony, and you can hear Karmelo talking. He was saying, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. He started to ask, was Austin okay? And then on another body cam footage, you can hear him saying, I'm not alleged, I did it. Now, when the prosecutor asked him, how was Karmelo's behavior at this time? Was he upset? And he said, no, he was cool, calm, collected. And when they brought up the knife situation, he said that you're not supposed to bring knives to school events, and that was unusual activity. So during the cross-examination, they started to talk about Karmelo did follow all of his commands again, but they also went back to that body cam footage. And in that body cam footage, it contradicted what the officer had just testified to, because Karmelo was crying and he was very upset during this whole ordeal. Now, they also brought the fact that carrying a knife that's under 5.5 inches long is not illegal. Now, the third witness was Officer Jacob Shalz. He was there to secure the scene and for evidence. He was trying to protect the evidence from the rain. Somebody pointed out the knife to him. Now, with his testimony, they were able to introduce some evidence: the knife, the backpack, crime scene photos, as well as his body cam footage. You could see Austin laying on the ground. You could see Hunter beside him crying. You could also hear Hunter yelling out, "Hurry, my brother is my best friend." And he also stated during his testimony that some of this evidence did get washed away and got destroyed by the rain. Now, the fourth witness to take the stand was Stefanie Martin. She's a criminalist. She's basically there to introduce more evidence. She also introduced the backpack, the knife, a sweatshirt with a bloody stain on it, the contents of the backpack, Austin's shoe. Now, they said inside of this backpack was normal school things as well as snacks. They also said that the knife measured 3.5 inches long. Now, the fifth witness to take the stand was a 17-year-old student. For most of the students' testimonies, they're not giving names. This student ran track and played football. He stated that multiple people had told Karmelo to leave, but it wasn't like a mob thing. There weren't like a gang of people on him. They were just telling him that he needed to leave from under the tent. He also said that Karmelo said, "Touch me and find out." Now, he states that he saw the stabbing happen, but he saw the motion of Karmelo's hand, but he never actually saw the knife. Now, he is one of the people that did call 911 and said that his friend was hurt, and also said that there was a lot of blood. He stated that Hunter, Austin's twin brother, was not involved in this incident, and that Karmelo threw the knife down after the incident happened and that he ran off. Now, during the cross-examination, when they asked him questions, he stated that Austin did shove Karmelo to the point where Karmelo's body did go backwards, and he stated that once again he did not see the knife. The sixth witness to take the stand is Jalen Matthews. He states that his mother was the pediatrician for Austin and Hunter, and that at the time of this incident he knew both of the guys, but he was closer to Hunter. He also states that on this day he was under the tent, he was scrolling on TikTok. Karmelo came and sat halfway under the tent, halfway not under the tent, and he was sitting next to him, and he said people started to ask, like, who is this guy, where did he come from? It was suspicious because nobody knew who he was. He says that Austin calmly asked Karmelo to leave. Karmelo was very strong on not leaving. He said that Austin asked him this about 10 to 15 times. Now, he said Austin did shove Karmelo. The shove was strong enough to push Karmelo out of his seat, but not strong enough to hurt him. When he was asked about who was the aggressor in this situation, he felt like Karmelo was the aggressor, that Karmelo was looking for a fight, and he said that he does not feel like Karmelo used self-defense. He also stated that Hunter did not say anything during this ordeal. This was just between him and Austin. Now, during the cross-examination, he did get asked about Karmelo's behavior when he first came to the tent, and he said that Karmelo was acting normal and he was acting friendly. Now, he said that Austin did ask him about 10 to 15 times and he did shove him. However, he didn't really see the stabbing take place. Now, the seventh witness to take the stand is a 16-year-old Memorial High School student. This student also plays football and runs track, but this is where the testimony gets tricky. He states that Karmelo came up the steps and went under the tent. He started to wonder, what is he doing here? But he figured he must know somebody over here, so it's all good. He then states that he started to murmur, who is he with? And Austin started to ask Karmelo to leave. He states that Austin asked him this multiple times. Karmelo refused to leave, and that Austin became very frustrated. He then started to reenact the shove that Austin did to Karmelo, and he has one hand and does a slight shove on the shoulder. Now, this contradicts every other testimony that has been given. Everybody else has said that it was two hands and it was a forceful shove. This person is saying it's one hand and it was not that strong. Now, he states that he does not think that Austin was looking for a fight. He feels like Karmelo was looking for a fight, that Karmelo was the aggressor, and that this was not self-defense. He states that after Austin was stabbed, he got up and said, "I got stabbed," and repeated that multiple times. Now, during the cross-examination, they started to ask him about who was talking to Karmelo and what happened when he first went to that tent. Now, during the cross-examination, he states that he saw Karmelo interacted with somebody at that tent. They interacted for a good few minutes, so he figured they knew each other, and that Karmelo had stayed there for about 2 to 4 minutes before Austin ever asked him to leave. Now, he states that Austin was the only person telling him that he needed to leave. And at that point, the defense attorney said, "That is not the same thing you told the police when they questioned you." And he gave him his statements and told him to read them out loud. In his statements that he gave to the police on the day of the incident, he said that Hunter and Austin were going at Karmelo, telling Karmelo that he needed to leave. He also did point out that Karmelo is smaller than Austin and Hunter, and people can see Austin's size is intimidating. Now, the eighth witness to testify is a 17-year-old student from Memorial High School. He had a stress ball in his hand while inside of the courtroom. He states that on the day of the incident, him, his mom, and his sister were all at the track meet. He was under the tent putting on shorts. He stated that his sister would not be testifying because what she saw that day shook her. He states that him and Austin were pretty close, that Austin believed in him. He basically said the same thing that most of the other testimonies said, that Austin asked Karmelo multiple times to leave. Karmelo was not leaving. He felt like Karmelo was provoking Austin. He was the aggressor, that Austin told Karmelo, "I'm not going to fight you at a track meet." And basically that he did not feel like Austin wanted a fight out of this situation. He also said that the push to Karmelo was with one hand to the shoulder. Now, during the cross-examination, he simply just reenacted this one hand push. Now, the ninth witness is a Liberty High School recent graduate. She states that at this track meet, her school tent was right next to the tent from Memorial High School. She stated that she heard a commotion, and when she looked over, there was a verbal argument being had. She could hear Austin telling Karmelo to get up and move. Karmelo was refusing to move. She said her friend's race had began, so she looked over to the track, and by the time she looked back, the stabbing had already happened. Now, she feels like Karmelo was the aggressor in this situation, and she feels like he was trying to antagonize Austin at this time. She also states that she does not feel like this has anything to do with race or self-defense. Now, she went ahead and made a note to say that she do realize that some of the things that she told the police about the relationship between Karmelo and Austin, that those things were not true. So they did her cross-examination, and she stated that Karmelo said, "If you want me to move me." She then was asked about the statements that she had given to the police, and she came back and said that she actually did not hear those statements. Now, the 10th and final witness is a 17-year-old Memorial High School student. He is also a twin, and he plays football. He plays the same position as Austin and Hunter, and this is probably the most important testimony so far. He gave testimony to stuff that people have not said yet. Now, this person said that Austin was telling Karmelo to leave, and that Karmelo put his hand inside of his backpack, and at that point, he told Austin, "Do not touch him." He said when Austin did touch Karmelo, he used two hands, but it was not a forceful shove. He was just trying to move him, not hurt him, that Austin was not trying to fight Karmelo, and he does not believe that Karmelo was using self-defense. Now, he stated that during this incident, Hunter was not involved and that he stayed seated the entire time. Now, then this went over to cross-examination, and almost everything that he had testified to got debunked. They asked him, how did Austin come to be standing? He said Austin went up a row and over a few steps to get to Karmelo. They then showed him the transcript from when he talked to the investigators. Now, mind you, he had just testified that he had been sitting down this entire time and that Hunter was not involved. When they showed these transcripts, he stated that he was standing up. He then comes back and said that he was standing, Austin was standing, and Hunter were all standing during this incident. Now, they then asked him about when Austin grabbed Karmelo. He said that Austin grabbed Karmelo with two hands, which knocked his body back, and that's when Karmelo stabbed him. Now, this is the first time that anybody has ever admitted that multiple people were standing up. We had just had the ninth witness to testify that she did hear a commotion, and she did believe a fight was about to happen. Y'all, they're having trial tomorrow. We have another day of trial on a Saturday. Hopefully, I can bring y'all these notes a little bit faster, but it is is AAU season. Once I have more information regarding any of this, I will let you all know.